shut down. Memang dia breakdown terus. Having a mental breakdown, dia berhenti kerja, masuk universiti balik, ambil accounting. There are. Honestly, I'm telling you, I have seen people like that. Because mula-mula dia buat engineer itu, dia macam, okay lah, parents, bapak dia engineer apa semua, so dia nak jadi engineer. But in actuality, dia tak adalah rasa macam it is something that he wants to do. Uh, so I would say that first thing you need to understand also what is it that you are passionate about. Are you passionate about critical thinking, nak buat programming ke, ataupun setakat ada orang buat programming tapi suka-suka. Ada orang dia suka buat analisis untuk data analisis ke apa, macam matematik, suka mathematics tapi um, not really diving into the theory of mathematics. So those are the things that you need to understand first. What is it that drives you to first? Because the drive tu yang buatkan kita nak buat kerja satu. Satu lagi, that is also the drive that makes you want to learn something. Because in the industry, there's always something new. Macam hari ni you can see kita buat AWS. Tomorrow maybe it's something else. Lepas pada cloud. Kalau from what I have seen throughout my 30 years of work, I have started with hardware, microcontrollers, and then daripada microcontrollers tu, daripada pakai apa tu, sequential, sampai ke sekarang ni controllers dah boleh pakai classes. Programming, in a sense, is evolving. If you want to do something, so you have to make sure that you are interested in that particular field so that you can always study, because technology itself is not static. Technology evolve. So that's the thing, that when you want to choose a career path, do find something that you are passionate about. So I'm not, boleh je nak cakap, oh masuk dekat cyber security, masuk data analysis. Those are good fields. I wouldn't say that they are not good fields. They are very, have prospect, very prospect fields, macam cloud data ni. It's very good, I would say. Cloud data. And then also macam cloud engineer, of course lah, kalau siapa-siapa nak dia daripada if let's say you are migrating from normal systems, ataupun you are migrating from a new adapter to cloud, then you can go for cloud engineers, as well as the architect. Mana architect? Architect, I think somewhere ada application architect, solution architect, I would say. Solution architect is good. And then I think they have AI kat sini, ataupun tak ada dalam ni. Machine learning, ops engineer. These are all very good. Data scientists, very good. But the thing is, whether or not are you interested in that particular field?
Assalamualaikum, Cik Rosni.
Salam.
Baik. Pagi. So, kita ada lagi berapa ni?
1, 2, 3, 4. 4 kali 4, 16, 17, 18. 18 tolak 2, 16. Ada lagi 6.
Nak tunggu ke ataupun kita nak start?
Kita tunggulah sekejap. Bagi dia 2 minit.
Okay.
Yang seorang tu kata dia pergi tandas tu. Biarlah dulu. Dan ada yang eh, tersekat-sekat tak nak keluar.
Okay, baik. So, kita boleh 9-5 minit macam tu?
Boleh.
Boleh. Okay. Kita tunggu sebentar ya.
To those that just joined in, we'll be starting at 9:05. This is because Armina, I think we just start. We're still short of like 6 people, I think, but we'll just start first. And then
Okay.
later on they'll just join later on.
Okay.
Kita record kan, tak apa.
Betul. Okay. Assalamualaikum and good morning, everyone. So, before we start our class today, let us take the class picture first. Everyone smile. 1, 2, 3. Okay, Mr. Rasni, you may proceed with the class today.
All right, thank you. Okay, right. Assalamualaikum semua. Okay, first of all, I just want to make sure, do you have any question from yesterday? No question? Any question? I can see that everybody has already hand in the homework. Okay, you guys got the average is about 18, which is good. Some got quite low marks. I got one that is 13, which is no, it will not pass because kalau 20 passing would be around it's 10, oh, 13 is passing. Okay, 13 is pass, 70%. Right. Got one that got 14, 15 got 2, 16 got 3, 17 got 1, 18 got 3, 5 people got 19, and so 5 people got full marks, which is quite good. Not quite good, those are very good. All right. So that's why I'm asking. Is there any questions regarding yesterday's topic? Yesterday we went through 4 modules. The first module is the introduction. It wasn't so much in a sense, it's just telling them. But the first module, the benefit is very important. The 6th benefit of cloud computing. Especially if let's say according to AWS, the 6th benefit of using AWS. And then we went into compute in the cloud, and then we learn about EC2, and then the type of EC2. There's compute, there's memory optimized, so on and so forth. And then we look at the what do you call that? How to auto scale, the auto balancing. We have messaging inside the AWS to what I call that, when you have auto balancing, you're creating more instances, and then for microservices, how to communicate between the microservices, between the containers, and then you can we learn about the containerization in AWS. They have the containers, and also they have the Kubernetes inside AWS. And after that, we went and look at the global infrastructure, where you learn about region, you learn about high availability with the introduction of AZ, and then we look at the edge, where there's the cache and the store the information, the memory, so that latency can be reduced. And then in the end, we look at networking, how AWS instances or the resources in AWS get connected to the user, in a sense, from the internet, and then it goes through the gateway, and then you have your own VPC to to isolate your resources between one another. And then inside your VPC, you have your subnet to in a sense to categorize between your resources. Okay, so you have that. Okay, so that's what we did for yesterday. So any question first regarding that? So no. Okay. If there is no questions, before we go on with our chapter. Okay, yeah. The other thing is that I already shared the chapters that we'll be going through for today, chapter 5, 6, and 7. And I just updated the stream. You will find a recap quiz, which will include questions from chapter 1, from module 1 up until module 4. So this is just to recap what we have learned from yesterday. And then after this, we will have a short discussion regarding the questions, and then we'll go into chapter 5 and module 5. Okay, I'll give you 20 minutes. I'll put on the timer for you for 20 minutes. Because there will be 20 questions inside there. So you can start now. To those that just joined, we are doing the quiz. So you can get the quiz from the classroom, and you have another 13 minutes. You have 3 more minutes. Don't worry so much. I know that some of the questions you have not, some of the topics in the questions you have not learned yet, but don't worry about it. Last 1 minute. I have 15 responses. I think there should be okay, we have full house today, 22 people. So there should be 6 more. You have 30 seconds. Ten seconds. I have 18 responses. 4 more people. And time's up. All right. I have 19 responses, lacking 3. Okay. Anyway, okay, let's go and see the questions. Okay, this one. I know that some of the questions you have not learned yet, but like I said, you should expect a few things from questions in a sense. Even the real questions, 15 of them will not be something that in certain cases they will take questions from the um, Amazon architecture, I mean Amazon data. It depends on them. It doesn't have to be something from CCPH. Okay, so let's look at the result first. Okay, average is 20. Oh, okay. I should have given you more time, right? Uh, it's okay. Most of you did it quite well. I thought it was 20, but I'm so sorry. It's 30 questions because I didn't put numbers on it. Ah, sorry. My mistake there. But anyway, but you guys managed to finish it in 20 minutes, which is very good. Average is 27, which is very, very, very good. That's passing mark already. Way passing mark. Some of you got full, some of you got 29. Most of you had got above 26. Only 2% got below 26, which is very good. All right, let's go through the questions. Okay, for number one, which component can be, okay, let's just see this. Okay, anyone else? Okay, I still haven't got two more people, but it should be okay. All right, which component can be used to establish a private dedicated connection? Okay, you have AWS Direct Connect, which is what it is. It is your own private network, private highway to AWS. Virtual private gateway is just a component, is going to the is from a VPN into your VPC. So it's not really a direct highway, it's just a gateway. It's not that one. DNS is directory, so it's not that one as well. Private subnet is something, it's a room inside your VPC. Okay, which statement best describe security groups? They are stateful and denies all inbound traffic by default. They are stateful. Okay, I think I mentioned it yesterday already. So when we're talking about security group is and they are something that you can relate with what do you call that, um the list. Okay, one is stateful and one is stateless. Okay, security group is a stateful component. So when you see something like this, you can know that, okay, C and D is definitely going to be wrong already, because these are stateless. So it's either it denies or it allows. But inbound, it should be denying all inbound. You allow all outbound. Okay, so it's going to be A. So this one is A. Let me see, this one is A. Okay, and then which component is used to connect a VPC to the internet? So security group, as I said, security group is the component for security. Public subnet is the internet gateway. So this one. The edge location is to store or to cache the information or for memory from the origin. Okay, what is the key advantage of cloud computing that allows user to quickly scale resources up or down as needed? Fixed costs relating to costs, on-premise deployment is relating to the hardware, manual, so it's agility and elasticity. I think everybody got it correct for this one, right? Okay, everybody got it correct for this one. Which cloud computing deployment model involve running all application in the cloud? Okay, so this one, I think everybody got it correct. Cloud-based. How does pay-as-you-go pricing model benefits users in AWS? Users are charged for resources when they use them or not, which is not, because you have or not there. And then you have, it requires a large upfront. So this one also, yeah, everybody got it correct. So it requires a large upfront investment. No, you don't. Users only pay for the compute, storage, and other storage resources they actually consume. This is the one. It offers fixed monthly cost regardless of usage. Okay, in a client server model, which is the role of the server? So we have a look at it yesterday. The server is the one that provides your information. The client will ask for it, and then the server will have the information and everything else. Okay, to run a web browser or application, no, you don't run. Well, you can, but you don't do it. To make request to the service is to fulfill the request and provide the services like the EC2. Okay, which characteristic defines an open-premise deployment model? No, on-premise deployment model, sorry. Okay, on-premise meaning it is a private, it's a private cloud. Okay, you have everything, all your data on your premise. Okay, it involves connecting cloud resources to existing infrastructure. Resources are deployed globally with high availability. It utilizes a private cloud environment using virtualization within a company's own data center. It's a private cloud. So that's the key word there. Okay, what is the primary characteristic of a hybrid cloud deployment? Hybrid cloud, we have looked yesterday, we have on-premise, we have hybrid, and we have the cloud. Hybrid is the marriage of the two. You have cloud as well as you have on-premise. Okay, this is some people are having hybrid deployment because of regulation, some of it because of privacy and so on and so forth. It uses only serverless technique. It is a combination of on-premise infrastructure with cloud resources. This is the one. Okay, what is Amazon EC2 primarily used for in AWS? It is used. EC2 is a compute. In a sense, is a server. It's a machine that is given to you and to do whatever it is that you want to do with it. Okay. Okay, so relational database, no, it's not a database. And this one is what we'll be looking at today, RDMS. So we'll be looking at. Okay, so content delivery. This one is CDN is the CloudFront. Okay, and then you have providing scalable virtual servers, compute capacity. This is what we were looking for, compute capacity in the cloud. Okay, object storage, which is what we'll be looking at today as well. Which AWS service is designed for highly durable and scalable object storage? Okay, this is, you have not looked at it yet, but let me see how did you guys do on this one. Where is it? Let me see. Okay, this one. Okay, some of you got it correct. I think most of you got it correct. 13 people got it correct. 7 people got it wrong. All right. This is something that we'll be looking at today. It is something involving the memory. Okay, so this is the main word for it, object storage. Okay, because Amazon have a few type of storage and object storage is one of them. Okay, for this one, RDS is for relational database. This one is Elastic Block. Glacier is also for storage. S3 is for object. This one is block of memory. S3 we will look at it. We will look at it later, whereby it is for object storage. It's a file storage. Not really a file storage, but you store files inside that, and it is tagged in of a sort as an object. Okay, which AWS service allows you to run a relational database in the cloud? This one also we'll be looking at. This is also a part of storage. Okay, most of you got it correct as well. 18 people got it correct. Only 2 people got it wrong. Okay, so this one, DynamoDB is a product. Is something similar to MongoDB, but we will look at it as well. Okay, these two, SQS definitely is not going to be correct because SQS is a messaging system. Okay, RDS and Redshift. Redshift will also are one of them. Okay, but the correct one is the RDS. What is the AWS shared responsibility model? Okay, this one we will look at it when we go into security. Okay, what it means by shared responsibility model is that you have your own part to do, and AWS also has some responsibility towards your application. You will have your own responsibility toward your application in ensuring its security. AWS also has its own part to do to ensure the security of your components inside AWS. Okay. So customers are solely responsible for all security measures. No, this one is not shared. This one is completely owned by the customer if it is solely owned. It is responsible for security of the cloud, and the customer is responsible for security in the cloud. Yes, this is the one that we are looking at. It is a shared responsibility. Neither AWS nor the customer. This one is saying that no responsibility at all. AWS is responsible for all aspects. So this one is also pure responsibility, sole responsibility. So it's gonna be wrong. Okay. Which service is used to manage user access and permission in AWS? This one is also in security, which we will look at it today as well. Okay, AWS config is okay, this one, let me see. 17 people as well got it correct. So most of you got it correct. Right. So config is not AWS config, it depends on which I would say on which components or which resources that you're doing, you are using. There are a lot of configs that you can do. IAMs, yes, this one is something that we will look into. It is giving your previously yesterday you can see that I log in as my root user, meaning I log in using my email account. That one whereby I will go in and have root access to the accounts. Okay. It is not a good practice to always go in as root. If any of you have any experience in Linux or in Unix, you don't go in as root all the time, because roots have a huge power. In a sense, you can do a lot of things with roots. So normally, you create a user, and then even in Windows, okay, if let's say you're using Windows, you don't log in as administrator all the time. You log in as your own user instead of using administrator. So it's the same thing. So to manage user access and permission, you use IAM. CloudWatch is not S3, is storage, as I mentioned. Yeah, which AWS service, this one also we have not looked at. It is something in terms of security, but surprisingly, everybody got it correct. 20 people, everyone got it correct. I think because of the name, I guess. It's a shield, yes. So it is something that you use for protection. Okay, EC2 is compute, RDS is database, and Lambda is a serverless. So this tree is, if let's say, this is an example. If let's say you are faced with something like this, you know all these three, but you don't know this one. Then you know that this is not it. This is not it. So you can get your answers by eliminating those that you know will not be the right answers. That is also an approach to answering all these questions. What is a VPC in AWS? Okay, as I mentioned before, a VPC is where AWS put all your stuff in a sense, is isolate your resources from other people, from other customers that is in AWS. Okay, it is a tool to manage user permissions. No. You use policies that you will see as well. A service to archiving, no. A virtual network dedicated to AWS account. A global network. Okay, so it is a virtual network dedicated to your AWS account. It is like your own house, and then inside that you can have your subnet, which is your rooms. All right, which of the following is not pillar of the AWS Well Architect Framework? Okay, this one also we have not really looked at it. This one is at the end of our session. It will be on, I think, on the chapter 10. Okay, so anyway, data replication, operational excellence, security, cost optimization is what AWS framework should have. Security also it has operational excellence, because you have all the what do you call that? It is certified and everything, and the only thing that it doesn't have is it's not one of the framework is data replication. Okay, what is the concept of high availability in the cloud architecture? High availability means that you can access your service at any single time. It does not have any downtime. So that's high availability. It's always available. The ability to quickly scale resources. No, this is agility, elasticity. Okay, minimum costs, minimizing costs by shutting down unused resources. No, ensuring that system remains operational and accessible even in some component fails. So this is what availability is. Deploying all resources in a single availability. No, that one's not. Which pricing model allows you to convert upfront capital expenses into variable expenses? Okay, this one, what do you call that? we look at this when how to say that? Not okay. Let's go through it first. Pricing model allows you to convert upfront capital expenses during the first module, I think. Upfront capital expenses whereby you buy everything first. This is the older model of how you do IT business. You buy all your equipments and everything out front, capital expenses into variable expenses. So this is one of the benefits as well. I was telling you last time. So dedicated host, reserve instances, spot instances, it is on-demand instances, whereby you pay only when you use. Okay, so what is the primary benefit of using AWS regions and availability zones? Okay, why do we what I call that? There are, I think I put up 4 reasons, I think. One of them is regulatory. You have to see whether the application is confirmed to the regulatory or not, and then the close proximity to your customer. That's one of the things. Okay, so benefits of using minimize latency to all users globally, which is no, you want to have latency to your customer, not user globally. To ensure compliance with all regulatory standards automatically, not automatically, because every region will have its own compliances. To reduce the cost of all AWS services and to achieve high availability, fault tolerance, and disaster recovery. That's one of the main reasons why we have availability zones, regions, and availability zones. You have one region, and then you have in one region you have multiple availability zones, and when you deploy your your system, you want to make sure that if one system fails, there will be another one that that backs up, not back up, but in a sense that can run your application instantly. Okay. All right, so next one, which AWS service provides a comprehensive view of your AWS resources, applications, and service operating on AWS and on-premise? Okay. For this one, we will look into this in the monitoring module, which is we have not covered it yet. AWS Glue, no, we don't have this. We look at S3, right? We have not looked at S3 as well, but this one is on storage, and step function is not there as well. So the only possible answer would be CloudWatch. What is the primary purpose of AWS Trusted Advisor? This is similar to CloudWatch. We will look at it in the monitoring module later on. Okay, so Trusted Advisor, it is, as the name applies, it gives you advice and it gives you recommendation to provide technical support to AWS issues. And no, actually, it doesn't give you technical support to automatically deploy and manage application, to provide recommendation based on best practices across 5 category costs. Okay, you can see here, normally those that have long answers, right? Okay, long answers, those are the correct answers. So even this one is long answers. So this is the one, it gives you a recommendation. It's not a technical support. It is a recommendation. Is that they don't give you technical support for in terms of advisor. All right, which type of EC2 instant pricing is best workload for flexible start and end time and can tolerate interrupts? There is only one type that can tolerate interrupts. As I mentioned yesterday, if you have something program whereby it doesn't really care about when it runs, but as long as it runs at some point, those are the one that you should go for with the best discount that AWS can give you, because you are using the unused EC2 instances. So dedicated host is the most expensive, and you don't interrupt dedicated host. Reserve instances also, you don't interrupt because you already reserved those instances. On demand is not interrupt, because on demand, once you run it, it will not be interrupted. So the only one that will be interrupted is spot instances. This is the one that AWS gives you close, I think around 90% discount, because you'll be utilizing all the unused EC2 instances that they have. Not all in that sense. If they have some, then you'll be able to use them. Okay. What is the main benefit in the AWS global infrastructure? Okay, it allows AWS to provide free services to all. No, AWS does not give you free services. Definitely not. Okay. It simplifies the billing process for all services. It restricts data residency to only one country. It enables customers to deploy application closer to their end users for lower latency, and also provide disaster recovery capabilities. For global infrastructure, it is always go global in 1 minute. So something like that. No, go global in minutes. That's the one. So you can reach your customer faster. Okay, which AWS service provides block level storage for use with EC2 instances? I think this one I showed you yesterday. What do you call that? When we run the EC2, there is always a portion of memory allocated to the EC2. All right. So Glacier, Glacier is not. Glacier is for archiving. We will look into this today. Okay. EFS file system, we'll look into it today as well. But I think I showed you EBS yesterday. When we look at EC2, I showed you EBS. But we will look more details today. S3 is the object one, so you don't have that one. This one is when you create EC2s, you are creating a block storage. Okay, which of the following is a managed service for NoSQL database in AWS? Again, this is regarding database and storage, which we will look into today. Okay, DynamoDB is a product. It is something similar to SQL or MongoDB, but DynamoDB DynamoDB is a NoSQL, so it's a unstructured database, so it's more relevant to what I call that, MongoDB, something similar to that. MongoDB is like a document, but yeah, it's still but it is still a non-structured. So Redshift, Aurora is SQL. RDS is SQL, is anything but Aurora, I would say. Okay, so this is the NoSQL, non-structured. Okay, what is elasticity mean in the context of cloud computing? Elasticity means that you can scale, you can, the scale. The ability to scale computing resources up and down easily to meet changing demands. Even the word elastic, you can always like stretch it and stuff like that. So the word itself gives the meaning for what it does. The ability to run application on premises and in cloud simultaneously. This one is what you would say for hybrid deployment. A geographic distribution of data centers. This will be a region or AZ. Paying only for what you consume. This is on demand. No. Which AWS service can be used to monitor and manage your AWS account billing and usage? Okay, this one also we have not looked at it yet, but this one will be towards what I call that. I think module 9. I think module 9. Yes, but with the name itself, you should use SQS is for what do you call that? Messaging. WAF is firewall, which we will look when we're looking at security config. Like I said, it can be for anything. This is the one that the answers for it. Okay, what is the primary purpose of a public subnet within a VPC? Yesterday we looked at the network, and we know that inside your VPC you can create subnets, you can create rooms, and I gave you the analogy whereby the one that is facing the public, that is the public can go in and use, is something like your living room. So that is your public subnet. It is a room whereby it is open to the public. Public can use it as well. So it is to establish a dedicated private connection. So subnet is not a connection. Subnet is like a portion of your VPC. Okay, it to contain instances that need to directly accessible to the internet. Yes, which is something that is you go to the public. This is a possible answers for it. Okay, to provide private IP addressing. No, provide private IP addressing is something else within the EC2 when we create it. To host database that should not be directly accessible. Okay, when you have database that should not be accessible to the internet, it is not public. It will be a private subnet. Okay, which type of AWS support plan offers 24/7 technical support? Okay, this one also we'll be looking at later when we look at the what do you call that? Well, what is, I think chapter 10, going global. But this one is later on when we will look at it. Okay, but the thing is, it's either this one is a enterprise support. It's not a business support. It's an enterprise support. Later on, you will see this one. Okay, so that's the answers for the questions. Let me see. How many people handing? We have 20 people handing in. All right. So any questions before we move on? I think got someone raised their hand. Is that it? Or is it me who raised their hand? Oh, it's me. Okay, sorry. I must have pressed something. All right. So any questions? Pardon? Okay. Tak sakit perut dah. All right, so that's it. No questions. Then we can move on to our topic for the day. Today we'll be looking at oops, sorry, this one. Close this. Okay, today we'll be looking, first of all, we will look at chapter 5, which is data migration service. Okay, in this module, we'll be looking at to summarize the basic concept of storage and database. So whenever you have your application, when you have your instance, you created already your let's say your either your websites or something like that, you may want to save your users information or whatever information that you can obtain from your user. Okay, so where and how do we save those information? So we'll be looking at the storage and database, but describe the benefit of using Elastic Block Store, the EBS, the block, and then you have simple storage service, the S3. We have the Elastic File System, the FS file system. We will have some summarization between all of this. Okay, and then there will be a few more in actuality, but we will look into this. And then we will look at the relational database and then the DynamoDB. There's another one, Aurora, which is also the RDS. Okay, and then summarize various database services. This is what we'll be looking at for this morning. Hopefully, I can finish it by 12. Hopefully, 2 hours should be enough time. All right, so module 5, AWS storage and database solution. We will learn about AWS storage options and database services to optimize your cloud infrastructure. Okay, let's go. This is the learning objective, to learn about the storage concept, understand the basic storage and database concept, the AWS services, learn AWS key storage and database offering, the services that they offer, and also which services that we should used when whenever we have what do you call that, when we want to create our instance, which is the suitable solution that we should take, because there are multiple solutions, so which one should we choose from all this selection. All right, so instance store versus EBS. Okay, so this one is the one that we were talking about, the EBS. Okay, first of all, let me show you the, okay, let me sign in first and I'll show you the EC2. And then EC2, you will see EBS. Okay, okay, I'll just log in as my root user. No. Again, as I said, you are not recommended in actuality to go in as root, but I don't think so. I think I create some IAMs, but let's just go through this. Okay, let's sign in. Okay, I have MFA. Let me just open up my phone. Authenticator. I'm using Microsoft Authenticator for this one, so should be. It's up to you whether which one that you prefer to use. Because I use most of the time I'll be using the Authenticator, the Microsoft Authenticator. All right, so the heck, what happened? EC2. Let's go to EC2 first. All right, so here, when we have our instances, okay, I'll show you my instances first. Okay, when you create an instance, that will give you a portion of memory. Okay, that memory will be used in a sense for your application, whether you want to store your code or you want to store your settings, you want to install your application, other applications, so and so forth. So here underneath here you can see Elastic Block Store. Okay, so let me see again. Elastic Block Store, right? Okay, Instant Store and Elastic Block Store, EBS. Instant Store and EBS. Okay, so what it means by the instant store, it is a temporary block storage physically attached to host. The data will be lost when instance is terminated. So you can see that it is an instance. It is attached to an instance, and when the instance is terminated, you will lose that block as well. It is best for temporary data. Okay, and then EBS is a persistent block storage separated from any instance. Data remains after instance is stopped, and it is best for data that requires retention. So that's the only two differences. I will show you where it is first. Okay, so that you can understand what it means by it will be lost once the instance is terminated. Okay, if for instance I have this particular instance, I showed you this instance already yesterday. It is a website. It is a web server. I installed Nginx inside it, and I put some HTML files inside there, and then but like I said, I put some HTML files inside there. So inside there means that I'm putting it into the volume, the elastic volume. So this particular volume, which is the 8 GB, is attached to my instance, this particular instance. Okay, if I terminate this instance, terminating means where here, and I can terminate. This terminate, not start stop. Okay, people get confused by terminating by in a sense of stop and start. No, terminate in AWS EC2 is when you terminate, you delete that particular instance. Okay, if you delete this particular instance, the EBS, the volume that is created to that instance will be deleted as well. Okay, let me show you. Okay, you can see that this is an 8 GB. I'll create another instance. Don't worry about it. Let me just create another instance. This is to show that once you create an instance, they will automatically create you a volume as well. Okay, this is just a proof to show you that it is considered. Okay, let me just show you this one. Let's say another Nginx. Nginx web 001. That's it. This is the name that I'm giving. I'm taking the free tier. I'm so sorry. I'm just used to Debian, so I'm taking Debian again. I'm taking the free tier. Okay, the T3 micro. This is a free tier. Okay. And then I'm not creating any key pair because I don't want to log into it. This is just a sample because later on I will delete it. Okay, and then here you can see the subnet. So and so because we have our VPC and then we have our subnet. If you want to put it in a particular subnet or so on and so forth, security, and then you want to allow SSH to it, you want to allow HTTP to it. Like for instance, if it is an Nginx, if it is a web server, I want to allow HTTP traffic to it, so on and so forth. But if let's say, but of course, this, even though this is an example, I'm just showing you, if let's say you are creating a web server, you should allow the HTTP from the internet to be able to connect to your instance. All right, so here, configure the storage. This is, I'm gonna change this because last time I already have the 8 GB. This one, I will create only 4 GB. Volume is smaller than the snapshot. Must be at least 8. Okay, fine. Put it 9 then. 9 GB. This is so that you can see the difference between the one that I have already created. Okay, 9 GB. And then that's about it. Okay, I'm gonna launch an instance. Okay, existing key pair. Proceed without key. Okay, launch the instance. All right, so successfully initiate launch of instance. So I have a new instance. Okay, now let's go to instances again. Okay. Where's my instance just now? Let me see. Okay, there you go. Kind of confused. Can't see my instances. Okay, so this is the new instance that I just created. Correct? Right? Okay. So now, if let's say we go to the volume. Previously, I only have one volume. Let me see. Now I have two volume. I didn't create the volume. I didn't touch at all in the EBS. In this EBS, I didn't touch at all. But when you create an instance, they will create one instance automatically for you, which is the 9 GB. The one that I stated, I want to have 9 GB. So this particular volume is linked to your instance. This is what it means by instance store, temporary block, physical storage attached to a host, and it will be lost when the instance is terminated. This is what we call the instant store. It is still an EBS, but an instant store. The instant store. EBS is Elastic Block Store. So it is the instant store. It is connected to your instance. All right. Now, to prove that the data will be lost when the instance is terminated. Okay, so if let's say we go back to my instance, the instance just now, the instances. Okay, this particular one, let's stop it first. You can directly terminate, but it's not really a nice thing to do. So you can just stop it first. Stop. Sorry. All right, so you can stop it first. Stopping, just wait for it for a while. Still stopping. Okay. Initialize. Initiated stopping, so we initiated already. So we'll just wait for it to be stopped. Okay, just wait for it. Again, remember the volume just now. One is 8, which is connected to my web application. This is another one that we just created, the 9 GB. Okay, so just to make sure that you remember which one you switch. Okay, let's go to instances again. Okay, it stopped already. So here, the web 001 is the one that we're gonna delete. Not delete, gonna terminate. Okay, so the word here is terminate. So instance state, you can start and you can terminate. So if I terminate this one, if I terminate this one, okay, so I terminate, delete. So successfully initiate the termination. So it's shutting down because it has an OS on it. So it is shutting down. Okay, terminated. All right, so let's refresh this. So I should be left with one instance only. Okay, let's go and see the volume. Refresh this. I have only one volume, which is the 8 GB. The 9 GB is no more there. Okay, so this is what it means by, yeah, it's okay as long as it's terminated, but even though it's not really, okay, let me just undo this. Okay, so this is what it means by what it says here. Data will be lost when the instance is terminated. Okay, start and stop will not, you will not lose the data if you start and stop. Your IP address and everything will change, yes, but data is retained. Okay? All right, now we want to look at EBS. EBS is also can be attached to an instance. Okay, it's a persistent block storage. Data remains after instance is stopped, best for data required retention. Okay, now, how do we create this particular EBS and use it? Right, now, again, we can go to EBS, the Elastic Block Store, in volume. What you need to do is, because we know that this particular volume is linked, it is to the instance, it is hard, in a sense, it is hardwired to that particular instance. What you can do is you create a new volume. Okay, this is where you create your EBS. It is a general purpose SSD. Let's say you can choose whether you want to have ISD or HDD. HDD will be cheaper. Okay, let's just take the standard one. Size, I don't want 100 GB. I want to have 4 GB. This is just an example, so I want to create 4 GB. Availability. Okay, another thing, when you create EBS, you have to make sure that the availability and the region is the same as your instance. For example, if let's say, this is just an hypothetical situation. If let's say you create your EBS at a different region and different AZ, your instance is currently in Southeast, the Southeast 1A. You create your instance in 1B. Let's say you create your, no, you create your instance in 1A, you create your volume in 1B. Your instance will not be able to be linked to this volume. Okay, be mindful of that. It has to be in the same availability zone as your instance. If not, you will not be able to access it. Okay, that's one thing about Elastic Block Store. About EBS, it has to be in the same AZ. Okay, it's something similar to this now. In a sense, you have a PC in one room, and then you have a data, what do you call that, hard disk in another room. So how can it access to other room? You have to put it in the same room together with it. Only then you can be linked together. All right, so something similar to that. All right, so this one, I'll create it in the same easy. And then I don't want to have any encryptions, no tagging, just a simple one. Then I'll create. Oh yeah, another thing. Just now I should have showed you snapshot. Okay, I didn't make any snapshot. Okay, so here you create a new instance already, and this particular a new EBS already. See the 4 GB, the one I just created. Okay, this particular EBS is not linked to any instances, but I can mount this to any instances. Yeah. I will not show you how to mount it, not today. But this is just to show that it is something that something similar to, you have a PC and then you install a new hard drive inside there. To be able to use that hard drive, you have to mount it to your PC, correct? This is for those that yang dah biasa, for those that have normally built up their own PC, put in their hard drive and everything, and then use it. So it is something similar to that. You plug in, but without mounting it, without declaring it to that OS, you will not be able to use it. So now I have 4 GB unusable still, because it is not mounted to any instances. It's just a hard disk. That's about it. So this is what it means by instant resources. You don't have to go to Laoyat to buy a hard disk anymore. You don't have to go to IMBI to buy a hard disk anymore. Instantly, you can create 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, so on and so forth. Okay, so understand? All good? All right. So this is for the instant store and the EBS. Okay. All right, then snapshot. I forgot to show you just now. Okay, so here is a snapshot. Okay, what snapshot is? Snapshot is only related to EBS. Okay, so what snapshot is that, okay, where is it? Here. Okay, what snapshot is that you are taking a copy of whatever it is in that particular hard disk. It's like apa tu? A record lah, in a sense. It's not archiving, but you recovery point. Okay, I think that's the one that I was looking for. If let's say you are using Windows, you have this settings whereby you can have a recovery point where they will store everything, in a sense. That is an image of what it is at the current moment. Okay, so it is initial backup. For instance, if you are creating a snapshot, they will give you a first backup. So this one, let's say you create a backup. So this is the snapshot. 1. Okay, and then let's say tomorrow you do something to your hard disk. You put in some more files, or you update an existing file, let's say, and then at the end of the day, you create another snapshot. So in the beginning, at the start of the day, you create one snapshot, and then you do your work, you update your files, so on and so forth, create new files and so on. And then at the end of the day, you create another snapshot. So this is a little bit bigger, and then you create a snapshot. But when you create that particular snapshot, it will not create the whole image of your hard disk. It will take only the difference in that hard disk. The first snapshot will have everything, the initial, but the second snapshot will only have the differences between the first snapshot and the current snapshot. And then if let's say on the next day you do some other things to your hard disk, what it will do is that it will take the differences between that particular instance with the last instance. That's what snapshot means. It will not take the whole image, but the differences between the snapshots. Okay, this is something similar to if any one of you have ever used Git or version control. This is something like that. When you use version control, they don't take the whole file. They just take the difference between the last instance with the latest instance.
So does
Yeah.
this means that the AWS have the rollback feature using snapshots?
Yes, yes. But it's not really rollback. You just re-image the snapshot. You just take back the snapshot. Yes. Something similar, like I said, it is something similar to Git, but it's not really Git or it's not really version control. It's just you are taking the differences between whatever it is from the last one. So I already taken one. You can, if you have a look here, I do have one. I have not, after I did my work, I did one snapshot. But if let's say anything happens to it, I can always roll to this particular snapshot. Okay, so it's just the differences between the current instance to the last snapshot instance. All right, so that's about snapshots. Okay, let me see. After EBS, here. Okay, S3. Before we go to S3, so the backups are subsequent snapshot are save the changes block. It only save the changes only. This is so that you reduce storage costs and backup time. That's one of the things. So you don't backup everything. If you do backup everything, it will take more time in a sense to have it backup, as well as it will consume more memory space. So that's one of the reasons why they only take incremental changes. So you have to remember, incremental backups are different from full backup. They don't take the exact copy of it. It will just take the changes from the most recent backup. Okay. So it is more efficient. Later on, we will see something that will take the whole backup, which is the S3. Okay, this S3. S3 stands for Simple Storage Service. Okay, it didn't say. Does it say? Does it say? Okay, it doesn't say. Okay, Simple Storage Service. Okay, it's not linked to your instance. Okay, so S3. Okay, S3 bucket. All right. So S3, what normally people say is that you have a bucket for S3. Okay, and S3 in the question just now, we had one question in the quiz regarding S3. It is to save objects. Okay, when we talk about object is something. Okay, let me see whether they have it here or not. Okay, okay, it is object storage. S3, it is object storage. And what is an object? Object is stored. Object is something that have data, metadata, as well as a key. It needs to have these three things. Data, the file itself, the metadata, which is something that describe the file, and a key to what I call that, to identify the object. Okay, so that's normally what an object is. All right, so if let's say you look at a file, for instance, you create a file. Let me just open up a file. Let me see. Okay, let's look at this one. This is yesterday's file. No, this is not yesterday's file. This is, okay. For instance, you have this HTML file. Okay, this file will have properties. Okay, in these properties, you have the details. You have something like this. You have security wise. No, you have I think it's the details, something like this. You have the detail. So this is what we can call the metadata for the particular file. Okay, you have the data. This is the file. You have the metadata, and you will also have a key for it. A key can be something similar to this, which is the file location. It can be something like that. It can also be a number. It can be anything. It can be a randomized number. It can be anything. But it is something that is unique to that particular file. I would say in Windows, you will have this as the file name will be the key. Reason being because you cannot have the same file name at the same folder. So it has to be a unique. Okay, so that's, okay, let me close this, sorry. Okay, so yeah, so for object, you need to have those three things. You need to have the data, you need to have the metadata, and also you have a key. So now, S3 features, it is an unlimited storage. You can store as much as you want once you created it. You can go to terabytes, you can go to petabytes, you can go to whatever bytes there is. It has unlimited storage for you. But the limitation is, per file, you cannot have it more than 5 terabytes. Per file. One file cannot exceed 5 terabytes. Okay, so that's why here, it has unlimited storage. Now, 5 terabyte max for file size, and they will have versioning and they will have permissions as well. So you can set permission, who can access your file, who can write to your file, something similar to how you do it in permission just now. Okay, let me show you in permission just now. Right? It's something similar, very similar to how you handle your file. Okay, here you will have your properties, you have your permissions. Where was it? Where is the permission again? Security, I think. Or was it? I think security, permissions and stuff like that. Whether or not you are allowed to the read, modify, this is what permissions of this system. So you can allow it or not. So those kind of stuff. It's the same thing with S3. So you can, whenever you create what I call that, a file, or when you upload a file, okay, I'll show you, and then you can create the permissions. And then use cases, normally, it is used for backup, it is for media files, and you use it for static website as well. This one. Okay, I did this one as an example in here. Later, I'll show you as a static website. Okay, if let's say you have a static website, you don't really need to have EC2. You can use S3 for your static website, because static website, you don't do anything, you just want to display stuff, right? And displaying stuff, you can just use HTML. So you can do something like that. All right. So once you want to create an S3, you need to create a bucket. Okay, let me see whether they have bucket here or not. Okay, so this is what an object is. Object should consist of data, metadata, and key. Okay, the data, like I said, the data can be an image, it can be a video, it can be a text document, it can be any type of files. And then the metadata contains the information about the file. In a sense, maybe the file size, so and so forth, just like how I showed you. And the key is a unique identifier. In Windows, it should be the file name, because with the you cannot have a same file name inside the same folder. So it's something that needs to be unique. So something similar to that. Okay. All right. So now, okay, let me see. Oops, sorry. Okay, storage classes. There are a few classes for S3. Okay, before we go here, let me just show you how you create a S3. Do they have it here or not? Let me just push down. No, doesn't. Okay, let me show you how you can create an S3. So whenever you want to create an S3, you need to create a bucket. general purpose bucket, you can create a bucket. Whether it's a directory bucket, a table bucket, a vector bucket, depending on what type of file you want to use. I created a general bucket. In a sense, it can be anything inside the general file. But if let's say you want to have a table bucket, like say something for what do you call it, backup of your database, you can have a table bucket as well, something like that. Okay, what a bucket is just something like a folder. Okay, it is to segregate between one bunch of file to another. You cannot upload a file without a bucket. You need to create a bucket first. Only then you can upload a file. So you can have, let's say, I can create another bucket. Let's say, I create another bucket. So you can just put another, either it's a directory bucket or general purpose bucket, and then you can put any name to it. Bucket 1001. For example, this is just an example. Okay, when you create a bucket, you can also copy something from another bucket. You can copy settings from another bucket. Copy other settings from the bucket. You can also do that, and then ownership, so on and so forth. And then, if let's say you want to have your bucket as a static website, you need to allow public access. That's the only difference. Not the only difference. There are a few more differences, but that's one of the differences you need, because as a website, you need to have people able to connect to it. Correct. So from the public, so you have to unblock this from public access. Okay, and then you have versioning. This is where I was saying just now. Let's say if you want to do few changes to that file, so you want to have versioning to those files or not, so you can enable it. Okay, and then you can have tags, so on, encryption, server-side encryption, so on and so forth, and then you just create a bucket. Okay, did I create it? Okay, create a bucket. Bucket name, too simple. Not too simple. Someone already took this particular bucket name. Okay, bucket like that. Create bucket. Turning off block, you must select check. Okay, I acknowledge the current settings. Okay, so again, the name have to be very, very unique. If someone already used that particular name, you have to create. So normally what we do is the bucket is what do you call it? Represent either a project name, a project number, so on and so forth, because it should be a unique name. So I created one bucket. All right. So this is my web bucket. I already created a web here.
Recording in
permissions.
progress. Recording in
permissions.
progress.
Okay, so here permissions, you can see that I do not block from public access. And I have some policies, meaning people can just come and then get the object for this particular bucket. Control this, and then I would have my origin bucket owner. Okay, so that's the permission for this particular bucket. So properties, and then object versioning. There's nothing here. Okay, I didn't put any versioning, I think. Okay, so this is how the bucket should be. Okay, inventory. So this is the object inside the bucket. Okay, so permissions. Okay, there's nothing here. I think that's the only thing that I need to show you, that you have to unblock that particular bucket so that people can access it. Okay, so access control list, nothing there. So this is the ACL. You remember what ACL is? Yesterday we learned about ACL, right? This is the stateless one. So anybody can when you come in, you will check. You come out also, will check. So this is the stateless one, the bucket owner. Okay, so if let's say everyone from the user can have a look at it, delivery of group. I can't remember where I put the address for it. Let me see. Because should go to access point. Yeah, there you go. I think that's the one. There's an okay. No, this is grid and access point is the object. Can't remember where I put it. This is the tag. Create configuration. It says. Oh yeah, there you go. Bucket website endpoint. So if let's say I go to this endpoint, it will go to my index because I already set it up. I can't remember where I set it up. But I did set it up last time. Okay, so here I can this is cool form packs, which is the one that I uploaded just now from here. This is and then if I open up my index, it should say the same. Okay, so to give you an idea of if let's say you want to have a static website, you can do that instead of using a EC2. There are a few ways of using what I call that the services that Amazon provides. Because like I said, you want to store something and it is accessible via internet. So you can just use that. If let's say you are not using any processing or whatsoever for that particular website. Okay, so going back to here. Okay, so
So I have a question.
yes.
So like for the S3 with the bucket, does it have a pricing or like the same?
Yes, we're going to it. We're going to it. We go.
Alright,
Okay, okay. We're going.
alright.
Nah, dia nak buat website dia lah tu. Okay, we are going to the pricing. Okay, we have a few type for S3 storage. There's a few there are a few classes for it. Okay, how much time do I have? I have 30 minutes. Okay. Okay, for S3 classes, you have the S3 standard. This is the storage class, storage classes. Okay, it's not actually 3. There's a few more. There's actually standard infrequent access, one zone infrequent access, glacier have 3, instant, flexible, and deep. So these are all the classes for S3. Okay. As I said, in the basic concept of Amazon is you pay for what you use. So it depends on what is your usage for your storage. Okay, you have to select the classes depending on your needs and also depending on your costs, because everything will be billable for in Amazon. Okay, so let's go first for the S3 standards. Okay, S3 standard is designed for frequent access data. If let's say here, it says here, frequent access data and high availability. Okay, what it means by that is that you always access the data. Satu hari 3-4 kali, or every time you access the data. You want to see if let's say you put in a picture of your girlfriend inside S3. And you want to look at your girlfriend's or your boyfriend's picture every single day, every single hour, every single minute. Okay, so you always access it. So those, you need to put it in the S3 standard. It is designed for frequent access data. Okay, and also it is high availability. Once you store it in S3, it is stored in 3 availability zones automatically. When I create just now, you can see I did not specify any availability zone or anything like that. Did you see anything? Nothing, right? I didn't select availability zone. I just choose what region it is. It is taking what region I'm using, and it will create in that particular region. In that particular region, and it will create 3 duplication of it inside 3 availability zones. So it is a high availability. So if let's say you save your boyfriend or girlfriend's picture inside there, If something happened to one availability zone, you will still have it in 2 other availability zones. No need to worry about losing your girlfriend's or boyfriend's picture. All right, so that's what S3 standard is. It provides high availability for your object. It makes a good choice if, let's say, you want it for a wide range of usage. If, let's say, it is for website, again, a static website. If, let's say, you want to have a content distribution, you want to have your file at, in a sense, people can be able to view it, so on and so forth. So it has very good high availability and access to it, but it comes at a higher cost than any of the other storage. Okay, understand? All right, now the cost itself, I will get back to you. I don't have it here, but if I'm not mistaken, it is used per gigabyte, if I'm not mistaken, but I'll get back to you on the pricing. Okay, the next one is, but the one that you know is, that you need to know is, it is the most priciest among all this. Okay, it's the most expensive. Okay, now we're going for the S3 standard IA. Okay, standard IA stands for infrequent access. Okay, so just so that you know what IA is, it's not 1A, it's IA. Okay, this, as the name itself, it is for infrequent access. It is ideal for those files that you don't normally access. You may access it like once a month, maybe once a week, so on and so forth. You don't really look at it. It's something like your dad's picture, maybe. You don't look at your dad every single day. You want to look at him, okay, minggu ni tak tengok lagi, okay, fine. Have a look at your dad. Okay. So something like that. All right. So infrequent access, it is a lower cost because the thing about storage class is, the more frequent you access to it, the higher the price is. Okay, so if you don't access it so much, it is more like archiving. What S3, what it is meant to be is like for archiving. If you don't really look into it so much, then the cost will be lower. Okay. Availability is the same. It is still stored in 3 availability zones. It is still high availability. It's just that you don't access it as often. Okay. What do you call that? Yeah, it's infrequent access, same availability, but at a lower cost compared to S3 standard. Okay, the next one is S3 standard one zone IA. Okay, it's not really called S3 standard, but it is an S3 one zone infrequent access. Okay, the difference is between infrequent, because it is the same IA. S3 standard will have high availability. The one zone will not have high availability. As the name stated, it will only be saved in one zone, and you have to choose which zone it is. Okay. It is what I call that, and the price is gonna be cheaper compared to standard IA. Okay. If, for instance, you want to save costs, this should be the option for you. And of course, if your data is how do you say, if your data is reproducible, you do have a backup of it somewhere else. Let's say if it is reproducible, you should choose this option because it's cheaper. And then your data is not really something that is very crucial. You can reproduce it every single time if it is lost. Okay, so this is something that an option for you. The one zone IA. Okay, the next one we'll go into the Glacier family. Glacier family have three types. Okay, Glacier family have three types whereby the instance that the only difference between instance retrieval, flexible retrieval, and deep archive is that how frequent you access it. Okay, and also the timing that is it takes for you to retrieve your data. Okay, we'll go first into that. This is archival storage. It is meant for archival storage, and it is the lowest cost. Okay, so now we go for the Glacier Instant Retrieval. Okay, all of it works for archival, but in instance, your data access will be faster. It works well for archival data that requires immediate access. If for instance, you need to have a look at certain data, it is already in archive, but you want to have it immediately, so you can go for instant Glacier Instant Retrieval. It can retrieve data within a few milliseconds. Fast, it's really fast. Okay. And then flexible retrieval is a lower cost. Flexible is a lower cost compared to the instance. Overall, this is the cheapest among all of this. Okay, and then in this family, this will be the cheapest. Okay, so now flexible. It's not as it's cheaper, but the retrieval of your file will be longer. It will take within few minutes. It can be a few minutes to hours. It can be 1 or 2 hours as well to be able to retrieve your data. So it takes longer time. If your business requires for you to be able to access your file in a fast manner, then this is not for you. Okay, it's a very low cost storage and is ideal for data archiving. You don't really something that you don't really look at maybe frequently. Okay, if something an example is something like your income tax record. If let's say it is already past 10 years, you know that the LHDN will not be asking for this particular record anymore. So you can keep all those files in the Glacier family. It can be flexible, it can be the deep archive as well, because you don't retrieve that data. You need it, mana tahu orang tak apa tu SPRM datang ke apa ke, you still want to have that data, but you don't want to access it. You just want to have it with you. Okay, you can put into something similar to this. Okay, then we go into the deep. Like I said, the differences is only how long does it requires to retrieve the object. For deep, it will take you around 12 hours. Around 12 hours. It's gonna be more than 2 or 3 hours, but it will be within the time period of 12 hours. Only then you'll be able to retrieve your data. Okay. Again, this is for data preservation, archiving, where you don't look at it so much, maybe once or twice a year or something, or maybe none at all in 1 year, maybe 10 years, you look at it once or something like that. So data retrieval is gonna take a long time. It can take days as well. It can be within 12 hours or it can take days. Okay. For all of this, Let me check. If I'm not mistaken, there are high availability for all of them, if I'm not mistaken, but I can check it again. The only one that is not high availability is this one. Glacier, if I'm not mistaken, is also for 3 ability zone. If I'm not mistaken, I'll check it back with you. I can go and have it check again. Okay. So, any other question first regarding this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Actually, we have more, but this 6 first. That's another one. There's the intelligent tier. I didn't put it here, but it's there. Okay. Before I go into the intelligent tier. Yes.
You say that there is more other than these three, right? So means that the one is even more longer than deep or what?
No, 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 no. It's not in this class. Okay, let me tell you.
Another
Okay.
category.
Okay, it's another category. Okay, you have S3 standard. You have S3 standard 1A and one zone, and then you have glacier. There is another one that is sitting in between here. Okay, it is called the intelligent tier. Some call it intelligent tiering, some call it intelligent tier. So, but what it is that it is for something like the data itself, you don't really know the pattern for you to access it. It can be for this week, it can be accessing it every single day. Maybe next week you don't access it so much. Maybe next month you don't access it at all. You don't know the pattern, the access pattern for that particular object. So that one, you can have another class for it, which is the intelligent tier class. Okay, this one, what it will do is that it will create a matrix for you. It will monitor it will monitor your behavior of accessing it. And then if let's say it says that you are accessing it frequently, it will put you into the S3 standard. If they see it that you don't access it as much, then it will automatically put you into the IA. But when you access it so much again, then it will automatically jump you into the S3. So that's another one. But I think they didn't put it because it is still S3 standard or S3 IA. But it is called an intelligent tier because it keeps jumping from one to another. Okay. So it's almost time for break. Any question first? Let me see. What's after this? Oh, block. Okay. We will go into the file storage next because we have looked at the block storage for OS database, efficient for changing data. And then we have object storage, S3 for complete file, best for static content. Oh yeah, another thing that I need to tell about S3. S3, every time you change or every time okay, in EBS just now, let me just go for EBS. EBS, when you create a snapshot or something like that, it will create the differences only. But for S3, every time you put in or you replace if let's say you put in the versioning control just now, right? If you put in the versioning control, it will not create, the versioning will not have something like the difference in a file. Okay, for example, I'll give you an example. S3 is like an object file. It can be a picture. And then you are a designer, let's say. You are a designer, you edit pictures and everything, and then you upload it again. It will not upload or it will not archive in a sense, the versioning will not have the differences between one picture to another because it's a picture. It will archive, it will version the whole file. So instead, in a sense, the difference will not, it will take a bigger memory space, I would say. Yeah, I think that's what I want to say here. Compared to EBS, When you put in versioning, it will take the difference. When you take snapshot, it will take the differences. But for S3, when you take snapshot, it will take the whole object, the whole volume, instead of it's taking the differences. You can take snapshot for S3 as well. Okay, I think that's also another major difference between S3 and EBS. Okay, for complete file, because I see here the complete file, it reminds me of that. It is, you are taking the complete file, not portions or whatever differences between the old snapshots and stuff like that. It is best for static content. Okay, so next we will look at the EFS, the file storage. Okay, but before we go into file storage, any question first? If not, we'll take our 5-minute break. I think it's almost due already. No questions? Okay, we'll take a 5-minute break and then we'll start again at 11:05. Okay, all right. Okay, everybody's back. Okay, so we continue on with the EFS, the elastic file storage, and file. Is it file system or file storage? I think file system. I think file system. The object there. Okay. Oh, it is file storage. Okay. File storage. Elastic file storage. All right. So so we'll be looking into this. We have looked into this too. So we'll look into this one. It is meant for shared access across region, and then it is for multiple client. That is the main differences between these two. If you remember that these two is by availability zones, and S3 as well as the block storage, it is per when you create it at the availability zones, and only instances in that availability zones can access it. But for file storage, you create it yeah, for file storage, you create it region based instead of availability zones. Okay, what it means by, okay, so this one we'll look at here. Okay, EFS, it is regional data stored in region, meaning it is accessible by accessible across multiple AZs. It is meant for files that you share with other maybe you have company maybe you have multiple accounts, or you have instances, not multiple accounts, you have instances that is running on multiple AZs, let's say, and then you will have a certain file, a database, let's say, or an archive database that is shared between all of these instances across the region. So it is something that because if let's say it is per region, you cannot access it between regions. So you do have to overcome this, you can use the EFS because it is a regional file storage, or it is a regional file storage. Okay, so it is scalable, it grows and shrink automatically. This one you don't have to set what is the size of it and everything like that. Similar to S3, you don't really say how much volume you needed, and then you have shared access, multiple EC2 instances can access simultaneously. You can have that as well for EFS. Okay. What else is that? Oh yeah, another thing. Okay. Remember or not, we talk about outposts, which is something that you can put in your premise. It is an AWS service that will give you a rack. And for outposts, it includes not just EC2, it can be for S3 or EFS as well. Okay, but normally EFS we don't put we can have for S3 as well because it is a rack, and you can put services inside there. So outpost is also, you can have all of these services inside the outpost. Okay, that's one of the things. All right, so okay, now we go into database. Again, we don't need to worry about doing SQL or creating tables or anything like that when we are going into the what do you call that, the database for AWS, because again we are only learning about what AWS services AWS offers to cater to the database needs. If let's say your system needs database, what AWS services can you choose to satisfy that particular requirement? Okay, all right. So we have two types of database. We have relational database or structured database, and we also have non-structured database. Okay. You have experience in database? Any of you have experience in database? Yes. Okay, good. All right. As long as you know what a database is, it's good. It's something similar to Excel. If you haven't used database before, if you have used Excel, then it's something similar. Okay. For structured database, it is like Excel. It has what I call that row and columns. It is a relational database. You can relate one data to another. Okay, structured database organized in tables with row and column, something like I was saying, something similar to Excel sheet. It is a very structured one. Okay, and then it has related information, data related to one another. You can have like column is name. Column is name, and then you can have the value is Rosnan, something like that. Okay, so it is a relational one. You have this one, and then you have another one. Okay, and for relational database, how you obtain data from it is you use the SQL query, SQL query for data manipulation. It's either you want to use a select statement, you use update statements, you use what else is that? Select, update. I think that's among the most used among the one that you normally use. Okay, to store and to query data inside the structured database, relational database. Okay, so this is an example. It's like an Excel. You can have ID, and then you have product name. It is basically in rows and in column. It is an example of it. Okay, so RDS. Okay, Amazon gives this service, which is the Amazon RDS. I'll just show you first. RDS. Okay, Aurora and RDS. Okay, so here you can create your database. Your database can be, let me just show you first. Your database can be, this is only for relational databases because that's the name, RDS, Relational Database Service, RDS. So for relational database, you can have quite a number of them. Okay, so you can standard create, you can easy create, okay. But this is what I want to show you. It can be MySQL, it can be PostgreSQL, MariaDB, Oracle, it can be Microsoft SQL. Okay, so you do have a number of engines, options that you can use for your database, and high chances you are working on them on your systems. So if let's say you want to migrate or you want to use something that is similar, it is not that much of a problem. Okay, so for Amazon, unlike EC2, where you have to when you have to kind of like what do you call that, select which type is it. Is it memory optimized or is it compute optimized? For RDS, you don't select the hardware provisioning. It is automatically selected for you. Okay, so when you have that, you don't really maintain the server. So there is no making sure that the OS is updated for security, so and so forth. No, they already have everything done for you. You just use whatever it is that they will provide you. For the hardware side, they will take care. AWS will take care of it. Okay. For database, there's a few things that always a concern when we're using database. One of them will be where is it? Instance configuration, connectivity, public access, security. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I remember it was right here. And this is authentication, monitoring. Okay, here. They will have this the key ID. Where? There's another one. How come I not seeing it? Okay, what I want to tell you is that for database, normally we have this issue whereby security, or we have the issue of cybersecurity, I would say. It is the encryption, whether or not the database is encrypted. Not the database, the data is encrypted at rest, and also whether or not the data is encrypted in transport. In motion, is it encrypted or not? And when it is at rest, it's encrypted or not. So those are among the concerns that normally that people will have with using database. But for Amazon RDMS, they provide a number of different security options that can have whether or not you want to have data encrypted, or if let's say you want to have it pair, also can, but they don't really recommend to have that. But you do have the option where the database engine can encrypt your data at rest, as well as encrypting the data in transit. You can have that. You can choose an option to have the database engine. I'm not, like I said, I'm looking for it, but I can't remember where it is. But I do remember picking that option last time. Okay, so you do have that option to have the database do that for you. When the data is at rest, you encrypt it as well. When it is in motion or in transit, it's also encrypted. So okay, so but overall, the engines, these are all the engines for relational database that you can have. If let's say you are choosing to use AWS RDS, you can have MySQL, you can have Postgres. Normally people will go for this one in normal cases. I'm not sure, but I normally work on this. One thing is fast, I would say. It's relatively fast, and also is relatively cheap. It's free. Okay, but of course you can pay for the standard version, but it is also a free version for PostgreSQL. All right, but the thing about AWS is they have their own product, which is called Aurora. That's why they're saying here Aurora and RDS. Aurora is their own. Okay, so you have Aurora MySQL compatible, as well as Aurora PostgreSQL compatible. So those people who are from Postgres can migrate to this. Can migrate to this. This from MySQL can migrate to this. Okay, so let me show you Aurora. So RDS, they manage the service, automated setup, patching, backup for the OS itself. You don't really have to manage it at all. Everything is under AWS control, not control, AWS responsibility. And then you can have multiple engines. You have, like I said, like I showed you just now, and you have the security options for encryption at rest, as well as in transit. Okay, now we go into Aurora. It is something that we have to touch, reason being because it is an Amazon product. Okay, it is stated, I don't know whether it's true or not, but it is stated that Aurora is 5 times faster than MySQL, and it is 3 times faster than PostgreSQL. Okay, you say it's 5 times faster than the standard MySQL, and it's faster than the standard PostgreSQL. it is a relational database, similar to SQL and Postgres. That's why you can migrate from one to another. Is what I call that? The apa tu? The Amazon Aurora can help you to reduce your database costs by reducing the input-output operation. This is reason being because what do you call that? It is replicated across 3 AZs. To ensure that it's always available, it's always reliable and available, is high availability if you use Aurora. If you use others, they will not have that reliability. They will not create the in other copies. They will replicate this. They will replicate across 3 AZs. If I'm not mistaken, they will have 6 replication, if I'm not mistaken. One as the real one, and then the backup, and then in 3 AZs. So altogether, you will have 6 of them if you use Aurora. So that's the only difference. If let's say you are using Aurora. Okay. Okay, now next we will go into non-relational database. So relational database is something that you can see in a table. You have a relationship, you use SQL, so on and so forth. But for non-relational database, it is a key in them, something like that. So it is a non-fixed structured. It is a non-structured database. So that's the only difference between structured database and non-structured database. Flexible schema, item can have different attributes, no need for predefined structures. You don't need to have, okay, these cases for data that, a variable data, something similar to books, I say. Okay, books. I worked on books before, and we store it in a non-structured database because book, some will have authors, some may not have co-authors, some may have no authors. Not to say no authors, it is a book that is reproduced from translated, something like that. So you don't say it as the author, you will say it as it is reproduced or something like that. So the structure itself, if let's say you want to put it in a relational database, the column itself is going to be huge. It's going to be a lot of columns. So some may have one author, two co-authors. Some may have like 10 co-authors or something like that. If let's say you are registering a white paper can have multiple authors, and so on and so forth. So that alone is a huge headache for already. So to keep it into a column and to have it in the defined structures. So what you do is that we have it inside a JSON format. In a JSON format, everything, okay, whatever they have, put it there and then just save it. So if the element is there, it's there. If the element is not there, then it's not there. It's simple as that. Okay, so when you have it in element type, is it there? Okay, something similar to this. Okay, so one may have name, address, and favorite drink. So you have name is there, address is there, favorite drink, only this one I will have. The other one will have birthday. So, and also if let's say you want to add an element, you can just add the element, or if you want to remove an element, you just remove an element. It does not really matter whether or not it is inside a column or so on and so forth. It's just an attribute to it. It is just an item that you want to put. This is an item, and everything inside will be the attributes. Okay, so this one. All right, so we will go into the Amazon DB. Non-relational. Other than that, I don't much. Let me see. It should have it. But I don't see it. Okay. Okay, so now let's see. So, Dynamo. Okay. Unlike RDS, you have one place whereby you can search for the and you can have multiple engines inside there. But for non-structured, they don't have that. They have what do you call it? Singular services. If you want to have Amazon Document DB, this is also a non-structured database, and this is also one of the non-structured database. But we will not touch this one. We will only touch the DynamoDB. Okay, this is if let's say you work with MongoDB, MongoDB is more, I think, would be more suitable with the document DB instead of this DynamoDB. Okay, so you have a video here. You can just have a look at it. DynamoDB is a fast and flexible NoSQL database service for all applications that need consistent single-digit milliseconds. So it is a single-digit millisecond latency at any scale. So millisecond is already 0.00. It can be 0.001 to 009 milliseconds. It's a single digit. It cannot be 10 milliseconds, 0.01, 001. It cannot be 0.001 millisecond. It needs to be less than 10 seconds. It's a single digit millisecond latency. So very, very, very fast. It's a flexible data model and reliable performance make DynamoDB a great fit for mobile, web, gaming, advertising technology, Internet of Things, and other applications. So you should give it a look inside what is DynamoDB. Okay, so this is where you can have DynamoDB. Like I said, they also have DocumentDB. Okay, DocumentDB, which is also another non-structured. Okay. Video is private. Okay. Right. So it's a fast, reliable, also fully managed database service. Amazon DocumentDB makes it easy to set up, operate, and scale. MongoDB compatible. See, like I said, DocumentDB, MongoDB will be for this one. It's not for the other one. Okay, MongoDB is also another non-structured one. Okay, so let's go back to DynamoDB. Okay. All right. So DynamoDB. First of all, like I said, for non-structured, it is a key value, and you don't use SQL. You use a different query altogether, NoSQL query. And then for features of DynamoDB, it is serverless. That's one thing about DynamoDB. No provisioning, no management or servers. Something similar to like the RDS just now. It is serverless. You don't really tell them what kind of server it is. It is serverless. No provisioning, no management of the servers. Performance single-digit millisecond, just like what you stated just now. Single-digit millisecond, very, very, very fast. Okay. And then auto scaling is adjusted. The size of the database can grow. It will grow. If let's say your data grows, then your database will also grow. DynamoDB will automatically scale it. If let's say you're reducing the data, it shrinks, then DynamoDB AWS will automatically shrink your database as well. It depends on how you use it. If let's say your business or your application is something that is very it fluctuates, the data fluctuates tremendously in that sense. So, if let's say in a day, for daily accounts, let's say it fluctuates, the kejap dia besar sikit, and sometimes it will just shrink. So you can have something like this in a sense. It give you a very high performance whenever it is scaling. Handle trillions of requests per day is very, very fast in terms of performance. Okay, right. Anything other than this? Okay, specialized database services. Okay, purpose-built specialized database for specific workload. Okay, and then you have DocumentDB. Yes, okay. This is other options specialized in Amazon, specialized in database services. They the databases are for specific workload. Certain are relational, some are for non-relational, and then of course they will look at it in a sense of you don't need to specify the hardware itself. They already know that this is going to be for database. It's going to be memory intensive, so they're going to have read and write, fast read and write. They will already provision for you the type of service that that you need. Okay, and then you can have quite a number of them. Neptune also, QLDB, Elastic Cache, and more. This is for the database, and then performance optimized for specific data models and access patterns. So the how to call that? The performance itself is very, very good. Okay, so next is migration. Before we go to migration, let me think. If I'm not mistaken, in one of the question they were talking about Redshift. If I'm not mistaken, I remember I read Redshift just now in the question. So Redshift is also a database. It's not really a database per se. Okay, let me show you Redshift. Okay, Amazon Redshift. It's a fast, serverless, and cost-efficient SQL analytic and data warehousing. It's not really database. It's more of a warehousing service that you can use for big data analytics. Okay, big data analytics, you can use Redshift. It offers the ability to collect data from sources. It can be your RDS as well from many sources and help you understand the relationship and the trends across those data. So that's Redshift. So it's not really a database, but it is something. It is more of a data warehouse, I would say. It is for data analytics. Okay, it is serverless. All regarding data in Amazon will be serverless. Okay, you can see at this one. It's a serverless, make it easy to run and scale analytics in seconds without the need to set up and manage data warehouse infrastructure. In this demo, we will show you how to get started with Redshift serverless and run some sample queries. You can have a look at this as well. Okay, so next, I still have, okay, 1 hour and 30 minutes. Okay, quite a number of it. Right, this one. Okay, so database migration service. Okay, just now you can see that Aurora is compatible with MySQL, and Aurora is also compatible with Postgres. Okay, so because of Amazon would like people to use their product because if let's say you are using their service, might as well just use their product as well. So they provide another service if let's say you want to migrate your current database to their database. It's either on-premise, so your database that is on-premise, or your database that is already in their what I call it, in a sense, you're already using their RDMS, but you want to shift to Aurora, for instance. Okay, you can also use the migration service, the database migration service. Okay. Data source can be either on-premise, it can be on EC2. Reason being, it can be on EC2 because EC2 is a server. You can choose a memory optimized whereby you can install your own RDMS inside there. You can store SQL or Postgres inside there and run your database inside the EC2. It also can. So it is possible to have EC2 as your source database or any RDS database that you have already running. Okay, so this is a service whereby it enables you to migrate either relational database or non-relational database from one to another. Okay, so this is what they will do. Okay, AWS DMS, a minimal downtime migration, so that if you use this one, because in some cases your program or your business is running using that particular database, so you don't want to have it a long downtime. So have a minimal downtime during the migration. Okay, it will still remain operational, but may not be able to, the source database will still be operational, it's just may not be able to read, to write on it, because you can read on it, but you may not be able to write on it. Okay, so that's how they will do it. Okay. Okay, target database can be the same or can be a different type of database. So if let's say you want to change from your RDS, from relational database to non-structured database, also you can use the migration service. Okay, use cases can be migration, testing, consolidation, continuous replication. There's quite a number of use cases that you can use. For example, in migration, if let's say either from development environment to testing development, let's say you want to replicate your data sets, so you can use the same thing. You can use this particular service. Or testing, you want to see whether or not your current database will it work better if you change it to non-relational database. If you want to test, also you can use this. You want to consolidate, because like I said, it doesn't care whether the source is the same type or a different type. You can consolidate it. So this one is good for you to use if let's say you are creating your own data warehouse. Let's say you want to have a huge data set for yourself. Continuous replication for backups, so on and so forth. So this is one of the service you can use for your database migration. Okay, so that's it for chapter 5. Any questions so far? Ke semua dah tidur? Ngantuk eh? Okay, as I said, we don't really go into so much of the coding or anything about database. There will be no query, doing the query or anything like that. We are not creating any tables or so on and so forth.
Then,
Mm.
so like for the database, right? You said that no need for that management or provision.
Yes.
So it's like for development, usually you have to do a setup the connection, right, to the database, like the connection, you require the
Correct.
password, the database name. So how do Amazon do like that?
Okay, when you set up your RDS, when you can, just now you see, you have to choose the engine. After you choose the engine, you do have to create some settings for the what do you call that, for that particular engine. But it will normally take the default settings. Like for Postgres, the port will be 5432, and then default username will be Postgres SQL, and the password will be Postgres SQL. That's the default. Whenever you create a Postgres database, that's the default, the default username and default password that you will use. Not that you will use, but that is the default data credentials that will be created. So it's the same way as well. But the linking, you're talking about, if let's say you're talking about the networking between your RDS to your EC2, that one is a different matter altogether. That one comes into networking. It is not handled inside the RDS. The RDS, they will give you the what do you call that? The IP address, the port. They will give you when you create, similar to when you create EC2. When you create EC2, you can see the IP, the port, so on and so forth, right? It's the same thing. And with EC2 also, when you create for example, when you create a Debian server ataupun Ubuntu server, they will create a root user for you automatically with the default root password. The same way when you create SQL, like I said, serverless here doesn't mean there is no server. There is still a server. You can still connect to your instance, to your RDMS, to your RDS. It's just that you don't have to provision them. That's all. They will still give you the IP address. You will still use the same port. For instance, like I said, Postgres gonna be 5432. MySQL gonna be what, 44346 something, 462 or something. I can't remember. So it's the same thing. It's still gonna be the same setup, a standard setup. Of course, you can change that settings. It is up to you. Once you have already set it up, you can change it for your at your convenience, depending on your usage. And then to hook it up, to link it, you can either use depending what do you call that? What do you call? If Postgres, you use what pgadmin. If MySQL, you can use what do you call that? What's the name for it?
Bench.
Huh?
Workbench. PHP-MyAdmin.
PHP-MyAdmin. I can use PHP-MyAdmin, something like that. So you can use that to access to it because you just need to have the IP address. Correct. You need to have the IP address, the name of the table, and then the credentials. Credential-wise, it can be the default one. And then after you have created it, you can always change. You can just go to your RDS and then change it there. Operational wise, it's still the same. If it is relational, it still accept query from you, go so on and so forth. Okay, all right. Like I said, serverless here doesn't mean that there is no physical server. It's just that the provisioning of the server is not handled by you, because you know already that this one is gonna be a memory optimized type of server, because you're gonna be doing read and write. So you don't need to choose anymore. It's gonna be a memory optimized. Okay, any other questions? So this RDS normally sits in your private subnet now, because you don't normally show your database to the public. All right. So if there is no question, I have one quiz, because you're supposed to have a quiz every time you finish one chapter, one module. Let me just go and have a look here. Module Gate 1.5. Okay, let me assign this. So module 5. This is module 5. So I have, okay, show. So I have one quiz from module 1 to module 5. Okay, this one is, let me see, is it 20 or is it 30? Second, it is 20 only, I think. Yes, 20 only. Oh, the recap is 30. Now I remember. Okay, so this will be 20 questions. So you can let me set the timer for you. 20 questions and 20 minutes. So make sure you can access it first. Everybody can access, can open it up. Because I'm not sure whether I set the privileges correctly or not. I haven't looked at it yet. Should have the same privilege as well. Same as normal. Okay, if you are ready, then we can start with the quiz for 20 minutes. Okay. 1 and 1.5 minutes left. One minute left. I can see 20 responses. Okay. Last 30 seconds. And time's up. Okay, let's go and have a look at the scores. I have 21 responses. Any one of you that have not any? Because I think we have 22, right? Ada yang tak hantar lagi ke? All right, let's go through the quiz. Let me see the test score. Okay, still very good. Average is 80. We only have one person. Okay, 2% that is below 16. Right. The rest of you got 16 and above. 7 of you got full score, which is very good. But 2 got 19, 5 got 18. Very good. Like I said, very good. All right. How do you feel the question so far? We have already covered up until module number 5. How do you feel it is so far? Is it hard or is it, because to me, I don't think so the questions are hard. It's more confusing, yes. It's more, in a sense, tricky, yes. I would say tricky, yes. Confusing or bearable. Okay, what is bearable? Tahap mana tu? Okay, the thing is because there's a lot of terminology that they use specifically for AWS. And so those things that you need to take into consideration, I would say a lot of them is about that. So the best way, my advice is the best way would be to do a lot of exercises, a lot of the mock tests, a lot of the questions to see how it is that they can, in essence, the questions and then the type of questions that can come out. Okay, so anything else? What is your feedback regarding the test other than that? Other than bearable, tricky, confusing. But like I said, that when you are doing ABC, one of the methods that you can use is the elimination method, which you know that this one is wrong. So just scratch out. Because starting out, you have about 25% of chances getting it right. But if you do the elimination, in a sense, you know which one is wrong. So you increase your chances of getting it right. Like I said, the probability of getting it totally wrong, it's not 0%. But if let's say if this is a type of question whereby it is subjective, then yes, the percentage of getting it wrong is 0. It can be 0, but you start off with the probability of 25%, which is better than most type of exams. So it's just that whether or not you can use which methods that's best for you. For me, I always, if let's say some of them are tricky and stuff like that, confusing, I'll do the elimination. I know that, okay, this one is for this, it's not gonna be for this, so I just scratch it out. Okay, so I'll just be left with a high percentage of getting it right. Okay, so let's go through it. Question number 1. Okay, everybody got it correct, which is good. Okay, which pricing model allow AWS customer to pay on the resources they use? So you pay as you go, which is correct. All right, the upfront pricing meaning there are certain cases whereby you can do the upfront pricing. If let's say you are taking the reserve, you can do upfront pricing, but you still do monthly. But because that one you already put an agreement saying that you want to use it for 1 year tenure or the 3 years tenure. In a sense, a pricing model that allows pay as you use, then it should be pay as you go. Which AWS service is a serverless compute option that charges only when the code is run? Okay, this one, okay, most of you got it correct, right? Good. Okay, EC2 is something that an instance that you create and you pay even though you are not using it. If, for instance, you do pay when you run it, correct? But if let's say when you run it, but you are not using it, it's still running, you are not using it, you will still be paid for it. For example, if you start your instance and you forget about it, you still pay for it, but you are not using it. So that's the difference between EC2. EBS and EBS is block storage, so it's not compute, it's not serverless compute, and also EC2 is not serverless at all. It is a server. It's not serverless. ECS, what do I call that? Elastic. What I call forgot the name. Anyway, the answer for this is Lambda. Lambda is a serverless whereby you just upload your code and it is used as such. Right. When the code is running, then you get charged. If the code is just sit idle, you are not getting charged. When it is triggered to be used, then it is charged. So that's what it is. All right. Number 3, AWS service is best suited for long-term object storage of infrequent access data. Okay, let me see. Number 3. Okay, most of you got it correct. Yes, good. Okay, so for the first word here is long-term object storage, and second word is object. So first is object storage. So object storage is only S3. S3 is object. EC2 is not object. EC2 is a compute. RDS is relational database, so it's not an object storage. S3 Glacier is it because S3 is an object storage. So S3 and all the S3 family is object storage. EFS is the file store. So no, file system. Okay, so this one is the S3. What is the maximum file size for a single object in a S3? I think I did mention this before. It is 5 terabytes. Everybody got it correct. Good. So everybody got it correct. Which storage type is best suited for use as a root volume in a EC2? Okay, so this one I showed it to you. When we create an EC2, there will be a volume that is useful, that is created together with the EC2. So that one is the EBS. S3 is for object. Again, it's not block storage for the EC2. EFS, no, you create EFS. Glacier is also S3. So like I said, if I can see S3 and I see Glacier, I know that either one of this and S3 is wrong, so Glacier is going to be wrong as well. So this one eliminate, this one is eliminate. So it's going to be a block store. Okay. Which AWS database service is designed for key value storage and offer single digit millisecond latency. First of all, it is a key value storage, so it should be a non-structured RDMS, and then it can give you single digit milliseconds. So RDS is wrong already. Aurora is also a type of RDS, so that one is not going to be the same. Redshift is data warehousing, so it's not as well. So it's going to be DynamoDB. And I think I showed in the when we look at DynamoDB website, and I think I read it to you in a single millisecond digit, a single digit millisecond latency. Okay, I think we have it here as well, right? Let me see. Because I was looking at it, I wanted to know whether did I mention it to you or not. Yeah, it's there. Performance, single digit millisecond response at any scale. All right, so continue on. Where were we? Number 6 or number 7. Which AWS service automatically adjusts the number of EC2 instances based on demand? This is depending on the auto scaling. So cloud formation, no, Lambda, no, is auto scaling. The scaling is to adjust the number of EC2 instances. Is as I mentioned, we have scaling, either vertical scaling or horizontal scaling. This is the horizontal scaling, whereby you adjust, you increase the number of, you increase or you decrease the number. So that's hence the number, the word adjust, either you increase or decrease the number of EC2 instances. What is the key benefit of having a CloudFront? CloudFront have something to do with edge location, whereby it is a global content delivery. It is for you to deliver the data from the origin. It's a global content delivery. The database migration, no, we just look at data migration, so definitely not. Object level data backup, no. The server provisioning also no. So this one, almost everything. 20 people got it right. This is good. Okay, number 9. What is an availability zone in AWS terminology? In AWS terminology, availability zone is a data center or a group of data center within a region. I already got it correct, which is very good. I think we have been doing this question for over and over and over and over. I think most of you got it, memorized this already. Which Amazon S3 storage class is ideal for data with unpredictable access pattern? Okay, unpredictable access pattern, meaning you don't know this week how many you're going to be accessing it, next week how many times you're going to be accessing it. Maybe you're not, either you're going to access it or you're not going to access it at all. So with unpredictable access pattern, I think I did mention this previously. If this one is infrequent access, you do know how much, how many times you're going to access it. It's just that it's just infrequent. It's not, so it's not going to be good if, let's say, you are frequently using it. So Glacier is archiving. OneZone is standard, so it's the same. So the answer should be intelligent tiering. Okay, so most of you got it correct as well for this one. Number 11, which two are the benefits of using cloud computing over traditional on-premise infrastructure? This goes to the 6 benefits of using cloud computing. Of course, no, this is not one of the benefits. Global reach, go global in minutes. Yes, this is one of them. Okay, capital X, expense upfront. No, you don't have upfront capital because you don't need to buy hardwares anymore to get your business running. Scalability on demand, if you want to have it scale up or scale down, you have it on demand. Yes, this is another one. Manual resource management, no, so it's going to be B and D. All of you got it correct. Good. Make sure you remember the 6th benefit of using cloud computing. Okay, number 12. Which two EC2 instance types are designed for specialized workload? Okay, EC2 instance, we have general purpose, we have compute optimized, memory optimized, and we have memory optimized, compute optimized. What's another one? I think there's another one. Okay, anyway, general purpose is okay. General purpose is not specialized. It is the EC2 type instance, but it's not specialized. So the only thing that is specialized is for compute optimized and memory optimized. General purpose is for general, it's not specialized at all. So the word here is specialized workload. Either you want to use it for highly intensive computation or highly intensive read and write process. So these two. Which two AWS services can be used for storing structured relational database? So you want to store, what do you call that? The data is the relational data. So CloudFront is not a database. What is CloudFront? What is CloudFront? Just now we have a question for CloudFront. I think we have one question about CloudFront. Is it content delivery? It's a global content delivery, so it's not for database at all. So we know CloudFront is not. DynamoDB, is it relational or non-relational? Structured or non-structured?
Non-relational.
Non-relational is non-structured DB. So you know that this one is not, this one is not. SQS, what is it?
Queuing for messaging.
Queue messaging. Yes, correct. So these three, definitely wrong. So these two, Aurora is one of them. Aurora is Amazon's own engine for relational data. Which two features are common to all Amazon S3 storage classes? Okay, so this one, some of you got it. This one. Okay, let's go and see with this one. Two features are common to all Amazon S3 storage classes. Okay, S3 storage classes, one thing is durability, because it is stored in the standard one is stored in 3 availability zones, and durability is, this one is stated in S3 99.9999. If you go to S3 website, it is stated that durability is 99.99999%. And then minimum retrieval fee, and no, it's not minimum retrieval fee. The retrieval for S3 storage classes, depending, it's not common to all S3 classes. In S3 classes, the retrieval depends on, first is the timing, and also how frequent it is. So there's no such thing as a minimum retrieval fees. The other one is, remember I was saying, in S3, there is no limit on storage. The only limit is on the file size itself. You cannot exceed 5 terabyte per file, but you can store whatever number of files into your S3 bucket. So there is no limit. Either it is for Glacier, or either it is for infrequent or one zone. There is no limit to the number of files. So scalability is unlimited. It is only limited to the size of a file. Infrequent data access, no, it's not correct as well, because for the standard, you can access it as frequently as you want. Okay, local storage only, no. Definitely not. All right. So which two AWS service support serverless computing? Okay, serverless computing we look at yesterday. One of them is Lambda. Okay. EC2 is not serverless. Okay. Block storage is not serverless. This one is also linked to EC2. Okay. RDS is relational database, and Fargate. What is Fargate used for? This one we talked about yesterday. Do you remember? We talked about Fargate a bit yesterday. Not really a bit. Yeah, but we did touch on Fargate. What is it? If you still remember. Okay, it's it is for, yes, correct. It is serverless container. It's not really serverless container, but it is the orchestration of 4 containers. Yes. It is the one that you use because Amazon have ECS, the Amazon Elastic Container, and then you have the EKS, the Elastic, Kubernetes, and also you have Fargate to orchestrate or to maintain the containers as well as the Kubernetes. That's what Fargate is for, and all these are under serverless. If you look at it, I can show you it. I can show it to you again. This is no. This is networking before networking. Cloud formation. This is flow. Okay, this is region. Compute. I think it's under compute. Okay, this one serverless. So you have Lambda. This is serverless computing. Under serverless computing, you have Lambda, and then you have Amazon ECS, Elastic Container, and then you have EKS, the Kubernetes, and also you have Fargate. It is a serverless compute for containers. So this is the one that falls under serverless. Okay. All right. Next question. Which one? This one. Okay. Number 16. Which two S3 storage classes are optimized for archival data? Okay, archival S3 standard is not to say it's not archival, because you use it for frequent users, frequent access. IA is infrequent access. It is still not archival so much. The only one zone is the same as IA. It's just that it is being stored only in one zone instead of 3 availability zones. So the Glacier class is normally used for archive. Okay, so this one, these two. Okay. So if let's say you see also, this one you may think, okay, standard and standard IO, okay, same class, okay, go to this one, but no, standard is you use it for frequent. If let's say you know standard is not one of them already, you know that standard is something that you can use frequently. It's not for archival, so you know that this one is not going to be correct. Also, if you know that this one is not going to be correct, this one also is not going to be correct, because this one infrequent access and infrequent access are almost in the same class. It's just that the fee is different, and also the storage is either in all 3 availability zone or in 1 availability zone. Okay, which 2 statements are true about EFS? This one we just file system. So it stores data in a single availability zone. No, for file system, it is stored regionally. Remember or not, the file sharing, this one is regarding this particular chapter. Okay, EFS. Before database, we have EFS here, file storage. So it is shared multiple clients, and then you can have multiple EC2 instances. You can access simultaneously, and it is regional. It's not, you can store, it is stored between multiple EZs. I can access it between multiple EZs. Okay, so which one is it? Which two are true for EFS? It is stored in a single ability zone. No, it is not stored in a single ability zones. It provides object level storage. Object level is supposed to be for S3. So this is a file system. It's not an object. Okay, it can be accessed by multiple EC2 instances concurrently. And okay, not this one. It automatically scales storage as you add and remove. Yes, this is also correct. It's suitable for archival. No, archival will be for Glacier, for S3. And then this automatically, you can see it. I think we stated there as well. Grow and shrink automatically. Scalability. All right, number 18. Which two services are used to connect AWS environment to on-premise data centers? This is regarding network. Yesterday, we talked about VPN. We talked about the private highway or versus the public highway. Okay, so which two services? Snow cones, we have not touched this yet, but okay, so this one is for later on. We have not touched it yet. Okay, and then direct connect is one of them. Direct connect is you are making a direct connection to the AWS. And then RDS is relational database, so definitely no. Virtual private gateway is directly connected to your VPN, which is also a connection to your environment. This one I'll show you here. Before EFS, we have one here. Here, you have the internet gateway, and then here you have your VPN, your virtual private gateway. You have this one as well. And then the other one is a direct connect. This one is a direct connect, whereby you have a dedicated link. This is not just something that you can just create by yourself. You have to have AWS set a port for you as well for this one. All right, so it will be AWS and private gateway. Which two services are most relevant for structuring and securing a virtual private cloud, a VPC? Okay, so which two services are most relevant for structuring and securing? Okay, IAM is security. In that sense, you are accessing your account. Okay, I think that's the correct word for it. You are accessing your account because through IAM or through then you can go to this account using IAMs. Okay, so it's not really to the VPC itself. Internet gateway, yes, I think I showed you also for this one using this one. So using the internet gateway, you are going into your VPC. That's one of them. Here, let me see this one. So internet gateway, ACL. Okay, ACL is here. If you remember, ACL, yesterday also we talked about ACL. It's here. Okay, so from the ACL is also inside your VPC. It is to contract to the subnets and everything. It is inside your VPC. So these two. Elastic Beanstalk. Did we talk about it? Not yet, right? I don't think so. We talked about Beanstalk yet. But okay, but this is another product. And CloudFront is definitely no, because CloudFront is in the internet itself. It is way outside here. Let me show you. I think it was something when we were talking about DNS, correct? I showed you DNS and then I showed you this one. Okay, and then you see CloudFront is way over here. outside of the your EC2 instances or your VPC. All right. Which two AWS storage service support file-based? Okay, this is another one. It support file-based storage. Okay, so for EBS, it's a block storage. So it doesn't necessarily have to be file-based. Okay, so block, this is definitely no. Glacier and S3 are for objects. Always remember that S3 is for object storage. So Glacier falls under S3. It is also the same class as S3. So this one is not, this one is not, this one is not, this is file system. So definitely this is one of them. And another one is the FS. The file storage as well. Okay. So that concludes for this quiz. Right. So now we have 25 minutes before lunch. Okay, I'll just go into introduction of our next topic. I don't think so I can manage to finish it in 25 minutes, but I'll. Okay, AWS Security Essentials. Okay, let's do this. I don't think I need the timer. Yeah, it is. We're supposed to have our short break, but I think I'll just do another 10 minutes and then we can go and have an early lunch, because 1.5 hours you should have your 5 minutes or 10-minute breaks after 1.5 hours. So I'll take another 10 more minutes and then we go for early lunch. Okay. All right. So we're going to be talking about AWS Security Essentials. Okay, let me just bring up the security. Okay, so the learning objective for this particular module will be we'll be looking into the this particular term, shared responsibility model. Okay, you need to understand what is a shared responsibility model for you to understand. And then we will look into the benefits, on not really benefits, on what is the pro and cons to the shared responsibility model. Okay, and then we will describe, there will be some multi-factor authentication. I think you have seen me doing the multi-factor authentication a few times when I log in into my accounts. Differentiate between AWS identity and management, access management, the IAM. Some call it IAM, so I just call it IAM, security levels. And then you need to know the benefits of AWS organization. This one is when you have multiple accounts. Okay, then you can create the AWS organization. And then there will be a security policies at its basic level. Basic level in a sense of when you're creating the IAMs, or you're gonna give certain policies to them, or when you're creating groups, you're gonna give certain policies to them. Summarize the benefit of compliance with AWS, and then explain additional AWS security service at a basic level. So all of this will be covered in this particular chapter, basically regarding security of your application, security of your accounts, the application that you want to put inside, and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's what we'll be looking at. Okay, so this one, let me just open up this first. Okay, learn how AWS secure your cloud infrastructure through shared responsibility, identity management, and compliance concepts and compliance tools. Okay, what it means by shared responsibility model. Shared responsibility model, because you are using AWS, inside AWS itself, you don't how do you say? I would say you have no power whatsoever regarding the hardware, because you can't see the hardware. It's not with you. You don't know whether people can go into their data centers and stuff like that. So that one is because if let's say last time when you are doing a conventional IT infrastructure, you have on-premise, you can set that, you can put guards on it, you can put fences around your data centers and so on. That is to safeguard your hardware. But those things will not be upon you anymore because the hardware is not under your control. So this is what we call a shared responsibility. Whatever it is outside or whatever it is in a sense of the hardware or the responsibility to make sure that it is in good condition and everything, that one falls under AWS. You can see here, AWS responsible for physical data centers, the networking between, in a sense, make sure that it has data connections and stuff like that. It all falls under the AWS. But you do have certain responsibility as well. You need to make sure that your VPC are secure. That whatever it is under your VPC, if let's say, whatever it is security that you put, if you don't utilize them, it is your fault. It's something similar like this. Someone built you a house. Okay, AWS is the builder, is the contractor. They will build you a house. Okay, AWS give you a house with a door, a lock, everything, provide for you. But it provide you with the gate and everything. But if let's say, whenever you go out of the house, you don't lock the door, you left it open. The gate itself, you left it open. You let it open and everything. You don't take care of your security. So you don't go and blame the contractor for not giving you security. They did provide it to you, but you have to manage it properly. It is your responsibility to make sure that your house is safe. Okay, so that's a little bit about the shared responsibility. So AWS itself, they give you a lot of resources. They provide you services, tons of services. I would say a lot of services for you to use. You can just pick and choose whichever you use. You can, like I said, it's similar to a contractor. A contractor, you can ask the contractor to build you a gate. Also, you can ask the contractor not to build you a gate. But it is up to you. Let's say if they already provide you with a gate, but you don't use it, it is up to you. That doesn't fall on the responsibility of the contractor. So they have both. So both have to do their part to safeguard the security of your application as a whole. Okay, so that is what we call a shared responsibility model. And under AWS is something what we call security of the cloud. And for the customer, what we call security in the cloud. So as an example, if let's say we have a look at this one just now. I'll show you this picture. I think this one will be a good picture. Okay, so whatever it is inside the cloud, your private cloud, is your responsibility. Whatever it is outside of the private cloud is AWS responsibility to ensure the to safeguard your application. Okay. So migration security. Okay, here. All right. Okay, shared responsibility model divides the customer responsibility as well as the AWS responsibility. So that's what we call the security of the cloud and the security in the cloud. Okay, so do they have a picture? No, they don't have a picture. Okay, so for this one, for you yourself as the customer, you have the responsibility to make sure that your application is secure. In a sense, in essence, okay, if let's say you have a login page, you have to make sure that your application is safe from SQL injection, for example. You don't whenever you put in your login name and then your password, you don't transmit those data in raw. You should encrypt it so that people will not be able to have access to that particular information. So those falls under your responsibility. If let's say you have an EC2, it falls on your responsibility to keep the OS updated, to do patches, to update the patch, so on and so forth. But it is the AWS responsibility to make sure that the availability zone are always up and running. The data centers are always up and running. Data centers are safe from intruders, so on and so forth. Okay, so those are the responsibility between the provider and the customer, which is the AWS and yourself as the customer. Okay. Right. So as I mentioned just now, you should look at it as a builder and also the house owner. The builder, the contractor, will build you a house. It is their responsibility to make sure the house is sturdy, to make sure the house has a roof, to make sure that there's a door, a lock, all those things. But it is your responsibility to make sure that whenever you go out of the house, you lock the door. Whenever you go out of the compound, you lock the gate. To ensure that your application itself is secure. There is no such thing as backdoor to it, unless you intend to have a backdoor. Okay, so understand. Okay, I think we should stop there, and then we can have an early lunch because, like I said, I didn't it's already 1 hour and 30 minutes, and I should give you 10-minute breaks. But if I give you a 10-minute break, it's gonna be 1 o'clock already. So any questions before because after this we will start in go into the identity, AWS identity and access management. Before that, any question regarding the shared responsibility? All okay? All right. Admin? Okay, admin tak ada. Okay, if admin is not there, then we just break for lunch. I'll see you at 2 o'clock. Okay? All right. See you then.